Hunger is a powerful architect. It dismantles pride, brick by brick, until only instinct remains. It took Susan exactly 6 hours to break. Night had fallen over Sector 4, draping the chaotic city in a suffocating shroud of darkness, broken only by distant fires and the flash of sporadic gunfire. In my apartment, however, the air was thick with the scent of beef stew. I had heated a can of Dinty Moore over a camping stove, letting the aroma drift intentionally toward the vents. Cruel? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. At 2 a.m., the tapping returned. It wasn't the polite knock of a neighbor borrowing sugar anymore. It was the scratching of a dying animal. I opened the door, but kept the heavy security chain engaged. Susan stood there, shivering in the drafty hallway. Her expensive yoga pants were stained, her blonde hair matted.
Rex, please,
she whispered, her voice cracking.
Thomas, he tried to go out. To the garage. The things. They chased him back. We have nothing. Please.
She held up a gold Rolex, a heavy, gaudy thing.
Take it. It's worth $10,000. Just one can. For the baby.
I laughed, a short, dry bark. That's scrap metal, Susan. You can't eat gold. I opened the door wider, leaning against the frame. I told you the price. It hasn't changed. Susan looked at the watch, then at me. Tears welled in her eyes, spilling over grime-streaked cheeks. I started to close the door.
Wait, she breathed. Okay, just let me in, please. She dropped the watch.
I unlatched the chain, and then I closed the door and locked the world out. I didn't do this for pleasure, though the biological drive was there. I did it because the NGS demanded it. Survival required upgrades, and upgrades required contact. As I pulled her close, she didn't resist. She was cold, trembling, but as I handed her a protein bar, she devoured it with a frantic energy that was almost terrifying.
Synchronization target acquired. Susan, initiating genetic interface.
Bang, bang, bang! Susan, I know you're in there. Open this goddamn door. Open it!
He tracked me. Rex, he'll kill us.
The knocking interrupted the processing. Thomas was hammering on my door. Not tapping, hammering. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't stop. We do this now, or we both die. Boom! The door frame buckled. One more hit, and the deadbolt would give way. Susan was weeping, her eyes locked on the splintering wood.
Initiating genetic interface. 80%, 90%, 99%. Synchronization complete. Genetic material harvested.
The synchronization wasn't just physical. As we connected, the blue holographic interface flared to life in my vision, cascading data streams. I felt a surge of energy, electric and raw, rushing from her into me. It was like jacking into a high voltage line. A rush of heat flooded my muscles. My bones felt denser, my vision sharper. The fatigue of the last 2 days evaporated instantly.
Reward calculated. Attributes updated. Strength 10 to 20. Endurance 8 to 14. Agility 7 to 12. Speed 9 to 13. New trait acquired. Tactical analysis. Perceive structural weaknesses and projectile trajectories in real time. Reward item. Tactical Glock 19 and 2 magazines.
A heavy polymer weight materialized on the coffee table with a solid thud. A gun. A real, working firearm. But I didn't reach for it. Thomas was already there, bursting through the debris like a wounded bull.
You rat!
Thomas lunged, his face a mask of primal rage. He swung the tire iron in a murderous overhead arc aimed directly at my skull. In the old world, I would have been a corpse. But now, the tire iron moved in slow motion. My tactical analysis highlighted the trajectory, a clumsy, top-heavy swing driven by blind panic rather than skill. I didn't flinch. I didn't even step back. I stepped into his guard, my new reflexes making his frantic movements look like they were mired in honey. I caught his descending wrist with one hand. Crack!
Ah! My arm! Ah!
The sound of his radius snapping was like a dry branch breaking in a silent forest. Thomas's scream was high and shrill, his face shifting from rage to pure, unadulterated terror in a microsecond. The tire iron clattered to the floor, echoing in the small space. He tried to pull away, but my grip was a vice forged in the NGS.
You're a loud neighbor, Tom.
I leaned in so close I could smell the stale sweat and sour desperation on him. And in this world, noise is a death sentence. I didn't use the gun. That would be a waste of a bullet. Instead, I grabbed him by the throat and the belt. With 20 strength, he felt no heavier than a bag of laundry. I hauled him toward the balcony as he kicked and clawed at my indestructible forearms, his fingernails breaking against my skin without leaving a mark.
Rex, no! Susan screamed from the sofa, clutching a protein bar as if it were a holy relic.
I ignored her. I kicked the sliding glass door open. The cold night air rushed in, carrying the iron tang of blood and the scent of decay.
No! No! Not the edge! No! Rex! Don't! I'm sorry! I'm sorry!
You wanted to see what's out there, Tom? Have a front row seat. I threw him.
No!
He sailed over the railing, his silhouette flailing against the moonlit sky like a broken bird. He hit the pavement, 3 stories down, with a sickening, wet thud. He wasn't dead. Not yet. He lay there, his legs twisted at impossible angles, letting out a thin, high-pitched wail that acted as a beacon in the concrete courtyard. Below, the shadows began to move. The sluggish walkers, dormant in the night, snapped toward the sound with terrifying precision.
They're coming!
The dinner bell
Stay
had
back!
rung.
Stay away from me!
I walked to my fridge, grabbed a cold can of generic cola, and stepped out onto the balcony. Psst. The hiss of carbonation was the only sound in the room as I watched the first walker sink its teeth into Thomas's shoulder. His scream turned into a wet, bubbly gurgle. "Gravity's a bitch, Tom," I said, raising the can in a mock toast to the darkness. "But at least you're finally useful. You're a distraction."
Notification. Harvest complete. Threat eliminated. Bonus experience 150 EXP.
I turned back to the room. Susan was staring at me, her eyes wide, a mix of horror and a strange, dark realization. She saw what I was, and she saw that in this world, being a scoundrel wasn't a flaw. It was the only way to stay at the top of the food chain. I looked at the genetic archive shimmering in my mind. The penthouse was next.
Target 01. The Campus Queen. Status: starving.
This is SSS FM 99. Signal is unstable. Subscribe and enable notifications to maintain the connection. Stay connected. Stay alive.